All right, man. Today is Tuesday. It is April 22nd. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Snake Draft Tuesday. The boys are ready to talk some football. We are joined on Zoom by Big Ev and Clem. As you can read in the title, NFL Draft History. I don't know exactly what we're going to title this yet, actually, as I sit here talking about it. But welcome, Big Ev. I feel like it's been a while.
It has been a while. I feel always a blast to get the Eddie Tex Dog Walk. Very excited. I'm a draft nerd. I love this shit. I'm deep in the weeds on all of it. Giants are just a staple now in the top 10. So really getting in tune with the top of the draft. But no, I love it. Love the draft.
Welcome.
Yeah, I wish I could say it's good to be here, but every time I convince myself you're that pick away from not being here, and we just find ourselves back here again.
Yeah. All right. Sucks. Clem, what's up?
Feels good. A couple of New York Giants are joining the podcast today, right? Me and I have a couple Giants from New York.
G-Man, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
feels
it.
Good. The Giants are a veteran of the lottery process, I feel, which is what they said about some NBA GM, which just means you fucking suck at your job. And now us Giants fans, we are now with when the Giants, when you look at them in the top 10, it's like, oh, there's the Raiders, they're the Browns. Oh, Bears are kind of getting there. Like just a bunch of losers is what we are.
Yeah. We're right there.
We do lose a lot.
Yeah.
We lose frequently.
By the way, this is the first time I've seen Dave since he conquered his demons in Captain Cons. He slayed his rival. He's back, and he has a little bit of a glow to him right now. I have to say, boys, have you seen the glow in him? Like, I hear it in his voice. I feel like a cloud's been lifted. He's talking shit to Cons all the time. It's beautiful to see.
Dave has had a lot of wins lately. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's had a lot of wins.
You won't spoil it, right?
Yeah, I guess we know because it comes out today, right?
Yeah.
Dave absolutely had his best dozen performance ever.
Wow. Really?
Here you go, Dave.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it in real time.
Year 4, he just needed more time.
out.
Yeah.
He was someone.
Well, it was 9 a.m. and I fire on all cylinders from 6:30 to 9:30 in the morning, and
Maybe he's the Alex Smith of the dozen. Just needed year 4.
I've been thinking about this. People say I stack L's. I think I own the most impressive athletic accomplishment in the history of sports. And it's when I absolutely dismantled Stephen Shea 4-0 in rock, paper, scissors at Camp Barstool last summer. That's like the most impressive thing of all time. Am I wrong?
I mean, it's why Stephen Shea? Why is that impressive?
4 in a row? Right?
Four in a row is good, but it's not like, I don't know.
Basically, and if someone let me know if you beat a computer 4 times in a row, basically Stephen Shea.
He did work you in chess, though.
In Stephen Shea's mind, he's the greatest of all time at everything. So beating him in something like that is a feat. At least.
Have you seen Con since?
So bravo, Dave.
Since that, has he poked his head in the office at all or anything?
I haven't seen him.
I don't think Cons has come out of his hole since that happened, and
I'll tell you what he's not doing.
As someone that loves Cons, but also, we nicknamed him Captain Hardo. I'm happy you beat him. That's all I'm going to say. I love Cons. I'm happy you beat him too, though.
All right, let's get into it. Here are the 5 subcategories of today's draft. It'll be the biggest draft day steal, the biggest draft day bust, the biggest draft day moment, the best draft class ever, and then the last one is trade. We are going to fudge trade a little bit because it's more fun, and we're trying to have fun. So it's not just a trade on draft night. It's the biggest, most memorable trades that involve draft picks.
And most trades do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but we know the big ones. We know the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump into it here. Lance is number 1 through 5 behind his back. Ev, what number is it?
2.
No.
Clem.
5.
5, yeah.
Wow.
Boom. All right. I'm not making the same mistake as the wrestling draft. Number 1. Give me the 1-1, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, back to back for Clem.
He's got to be leading, right?
The most ever?
Yeah.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Or maybe Rico's close, but that's it.
Yeah.
1 through 4, Chief.
4.
No.
1.
No.
2.
Yep.
I'll take the second pick. 1 through 3, Ev.
1.
Got it.
What you took? I'll go 3.
You go 3. Okay. 1 or 2, Chief.
2.
Boom.
I will go 4th.
All right. So the order is Clem, Eddie, Big Ev, Chief, White Sox, Dave. Hey guys, before we get going today, though, I do want to talk about my friends at Game Time because the NHL playoffs are here, and the only place to buy hard to get playoff tickets is Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, with killer last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets. Prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to puck drop. You can save up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets. Plus, on April 22nd, Earth Day, that's today actually, when you select and purchase a super deal, Game Time will plant a tree with the proceeds. That's pretty cool. I was looking at tickets for the Blues playoff game. They have 2 home playoff games. They have one on Thursday, one on Sunday, obviously the closest proximity to Chicago. And I saw an amazing deal for great seats for only $79. That's right. You can go watch the Blues take on the Jets at home at the Enterprise Center for as low as $79. It's not bad. So I don't know what you're waiting for. If you're in that area, go buy those tickets now. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DOGWALK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DOGWALK for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time. Without further ado, Clem, lead us off.
With the first pick of the Dog Walk NFL draft, I select my steal, the greatest steal of all time, the one that launched a dynasty and a media network that pays all of our paychecks. I'm talking, of course, about Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. with the 6th-round pick, I believe pick 199 overall. Greatest quarterback of all time, taken in the 6th round, and all the shit that the Patriots got to do because they had that dude on their team and they got him for basically peanuts. And again, he's the reason we have all the job with the merch, Barstool ascending, Portnoy be leading, protecting the wall, whatever you want to say. Tom Brady is the reason all of us have jobs, lives, whatever Dave would tell you when you're negotiating a contract. Tom Brady, the fucking man. Number one. I think that was the one thing I had to have. That's why I went 1-1. He is the steal of steals.
Easily.
Yeah, that's the
only number
most obvious 1-1 ever.
perhaps of snake draft history. It's got to be
It's up there. I mean,
I think my next pick can be argued. I do.
There's that documentary. What's it called? It's like the Brady Six or something like that. Have you seen this?
I don't think I have.
And it just profiles all the quarterbacks drafted ahead of him. And it's like some of these names, and you're just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who is that?
And it was basically, it felt like if they made a documentary about Jordan's high school team of the guys who made it over him, where they just go through and like they highlight all these guys and how shit their careers were, and then they pan to Brady and it's like, well, in 2004, and they walk through his whole career, but then they walk through draft day, and every single quarterback, I think the best quarterback from that year besides Brady was like Chad Pennington.
I got it pulled up here, Chief. Chad Pennington, Giovanni Carmazzi, Chris Redmond, T. Martin, Mark Bolger, and Spurgon Wynn. A bunch of like wacky names too to make it seem even worse. Ken Jack, give me the rings picture as my graphic too.
Who the fuck is Spurgon Wynn?
Spurgeon Wynn. He played for the Cleveland Browns. I think he had like 2 career starts or something like, or maybe played like half of one season. The best one is that Giovanni Carmazzi, because he, in that documentary, they tried to like showcase him. He doesn't have a cell phone. He says he does yoga and lives on a goat farm somewhere in like Northern California.
Sweet.
And but like he was the only guy who wouldn't like be filmed for it. And then it was like the Hall of Fame game that year. They had Brady was playing against the 49ers in their rookie year Hall of Fame draft, and both guys played, and Brady takes this hit like trying to scramble where his helmet pops off and he gets up and he's all like jacked up, like Brady like, let's fucking go, like he's fired up that he just got hit. And then they show a similar type play where Carmazzi was like running for his life and just like threw it out of bounds and like slid down to the ground. And then they had Steve Mariucci, who drafted Giovanni Carmazzi, And he's just like, yeah, like even in that moment, you just know some guys have it and some guys don't. And he's like, I wish I had taken Brady. I'd probably still be coaching. So
Yeah.
yeah. And he's like, Brady came to our pre-draft camp because, you know, they have Northern California. We liked him. He was like fine. He's like, he was fine. But he's like, Carmazzi had a better arm. He just was like, Carmazzi was better than him. So he took him. It's like, whoops.
Damn.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, definitely the number one steal on the board, to be clear.
You know who the Bears drafted that year?
Who?
Brian Urlacher.
Oh, 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I got that draft class pulled up. But yeah, that's
But he's a 6th rounder, so the Bears drafted many guys before.
Yeah.
It's not even Urlacher.
So did the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, the Patriots. Why did you not draft me the other 5 times, you cocksuckers?
Yeah. All right, it's to me. I think the only one he could have argued with is the Herschel Walker trade.
That is.
Like, it built the Cowboys dynasty for the 90s. So I think that is the highest tier of trades. Obviously, Brady is the highest tier of steals. And because it led to 3 Super Bowls, I think that's the only one that could be considered.
Yeah, I mean, it's an all-time famous trade. The Jimmy Johnson had that. It's like a Excel sheet, basically, of like the draft value board. That it's like, all right, a pick at 14th is worth X, and he like had this whole formula for assigning draft value, and like that is the thing that is like still kind of used to this day. And yeah, and then it's one thing to get all the picks, but he like nailed all the guys that he got for Herschel Walker, which I think was Emmett. I think Aikman was already there.
I think hold on.
I was reading up about it a little bit, and part of the provisions of the trade where they got more capital if they cut the Vikings players that were returning the draft, and you just cut them all instantly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like just to get the capital. So it's like
He knew.
if the Vikings had any sense, they could have put a provision in there where they could have kept their draft capital and just made them keep their players. But obviously,
That's why the Vikings are the Vikings, and they are like they're better than the Bears most times, but they are a loser franchise.
yeah, they're a misery.
They've never won a Super Bowl. They're a loser.
Minnesota fans are in misery for sure.
It included Emmett Smith, Russell Maryland, Darren Woodson, Kevin Smith. I mean, they sentenced me to like a childhood of misery watching the Cowboys just kick the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. All for Herschel Walker.
Who was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. And there will be another similar one drafted, I'm sure. But this one obviously led to the dynasty, so that's why this one's bigger. Ev.
Now I'm gonna go bust. I'm gonna go Jamarcus Russell. I think that's the clear 1-1 bust, no brainer. 1st round pick. I mean, he's kind of at least NFL standards. When you think bust, you think Jamarcus Russell, number 1 overall pick. What do you throw it off his knee, 60 yards, and was out of the league in like 2 years. Like not even just like failed, whatever. Was not playing professional football, I believe, after 2 years. Had his obviously off the field problems, had like the lean problems, but I mean, just to miss that badly on a guy where it's not even like he just wasn't good, like just was not even in the NFL by the end of his rookie contract.
Absolute cannon, though. Absolute cannon.
Oh,
missile.
Missile of an arm.
I remember, what year was this?
07, I believe.
Okay, so they played Notre Dame and Brady Quinn in the Sugar Bowl, and I was like, this guy stinks. And then it was like he went number 1, and that was like the old Al Davis, where he was the best. Like you would never want him to own and operate your team, but he's like, give me Darius Hayward-Bay, because he took him 7th overall because he ran the fastest 40. And then he's just like, give me the guy who can throw it the farthest. So like that's all he cared about was speed and being able to chuck it downfield.
The Darius Hayward-Bay types, that didn't steer him off either. He kept hitting that over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, he drafted up numerous fast receivers in the 1st round after that.
Yep.
None of them ended up playing well at all. But yeah, Russell was easy. He was on my board.
One of the great things about Jamarcus Russell is a story where the Vikings the Raiders were like, here's a playbook, some plays on a DVD, and it was a blank DVD, and they wanted to see if he'd say anything. He never said anything because he never watched it.
Yeah.
And it's just like Jamarcus Russell to a fucking T. And I have to admit, boys, I was like, so 2007 draft, like who did they pass up by drafting Jamarcus Russell? 1. Okay. 2nd pick of that draft, guy you might have heard of, Calvin Johnson.
Yep.
It's pretty
Number
good.
3.
He's all right.
Joe Thomas,
He was
pretty good
okay.
left. He could always use left tackle. LaRon Landry, Adrian Peterson, number 7.
Pretty good.
Patrick Willis, 11. Marshawn
Pretty good.
Lynch, 12. Darrell Revis, 14. Just to name a few. This fucking draft is awesome. I didn't realize how good this draft is. But Jamarcus Russell 1 is just a big piece of shit at the top of like a. It's just a golden fucking crown, and then there's a piece of shit on top. Is the one.
Yeah, it can't be stated enough. Like how bad, not only how bad you have to be, but like how bad your reputation has to be. That nobody even takes a flyer on you after you flame out in 3 years with your first team, right? The fact that I don't think he went to a camp.
I think I have like a faint memory because he blew up physically too.
Yeah.
And he was a big guy.
Oh,
I
like a
feel
lineman.
like I remember somewhat like there was being rumors of Jamarcus Russell trying to make a comeback as a lineman.
That had to be someone just making like a mean rumor for sure.
No way.
Like there's
I'm gonna Google it, but I have like that memory just popped in my head.
that wasn't like I don't think that right. Was that any validity that you guys remember to that?
The
I don't-
lineman thing? No, I think that was just.
I mean, he
thing.
looked like a lineman, but I don't think that's true. There's no way. There's no way that's true.
No, I'm not seeing anything. There is a
you
thing
believe
from
this banana head?
There is a thing for look. I had a memory. I see an article from Bleach Report, June 8th, 2018, that he was trying to make a comeback, but he currently weighed 308 pounds. So,
Shout out to Calvin Benjamin moving to tight end.
yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's bad, man. That's bad.
Chief, was that? I feel like that Notre Dame defense was known as being pretty bad heading into that game too. So he put up numbers on it was a bad. It wasn't like Notre Dame is now known.
Yeah,
for their
none of
defense.
those Charlie Weiss defenses were any good. Like that was like Brady Quinn, Jeff Samardzija, Darius Walker. Like they put up a lot of points, and then they played LSU the first year, I think, and then Ohio State got him the second year, and then Charlie Weiss was fired a couple of years after that.
You are up, Chief.
I am up. They did have Tom Zibikowski. Shout out Tom Zibikowski.
You're against him now. So
Why am I against him?
Because
you said you're on
yeah.
Robbie Gold's side.
Yeah.
I said once Zibikowski comes in here, then we'll reevaluate.
All right.
I also am against Tom Zibikowski now.
Well, I mean, you don't like Notre Dame.
Well, I liked him though.
You just
I can
don't like
separate.
Ed.
I don't like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope St. Pat's.
Tom Zibikowski is
Every
coaching
single day.
Ed's high school football team now.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go.
Big Zibikowski guy. He was a boxer too, right?
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mitts of hands.
he was a Golden Glove champion. I will take for steal. I'll take Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, I think people argue that he's a top 5. He's at least a top 10 quarterback ever. That you can almost get this as a moment too. But like seeing him sitting in the green room where he was supposed to be a top 5 pick, was like you take him or Alex Smith, then he just drops and
Drops. I wish he would have gone a pick earlier or a pick later. in
That
the
would have
draft.
been great.
Yeah.
Would have been great. Mm-hmm. They probably would have just found somebody else. But
Yeah, I mean that moment's still draftable, but yeah, I mean even going at 25, it was still a steal considering how good he turned out.
I
to
didn't
be.
put him on the list because I didn't include any first round.
Yeah, same. Same.
But at the same time, he kind of was a steal, so
Definitely.
it's kind of muddied.
especially because a quarterback,
And they had a Hall of Famer on the roster already, and they're like, huh, I mean, he fell to us. Why the fuck
Yeah.
not? You know,
And-
I'm sure he wasn't even on their board.
he went to Cal. He's from Northern California. The 49ers had the first overall
Yep.
pick. They took another quarterback, which Alex Smith ended up having a pretty good career. Like he had to move around a little bit, but he was a good quarterback.
Yeah, he was good at. Yeah,
Yeah,
it took him a minute, but he was good.
He had a great year with
Yeah.
with the Chiefs and Andy Reid before Mahomes came in.
Any of you guys not like this for the simple sake that he is a first rounder?
I think he's a steal. I think there's better steals on the board personally, just based on value. Like there's guys later that he wasn't on my list of like 5-6 guys, but he's definitely a steal. I
Yeah.
mean, Hall of Famer.
This got a little bit muddy for me because like the Brady one is an obvious one, but there are Hall of Famers drafted in late rounds in every single draft. So it's like I wanted to have one that was like a memorable slide and steal. And
Every single draft.
probably that there's a Hall of Famer and picked late or a Pro Bowler picked late. And
Pro Bowler for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pro Bowler definitely.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer now.
That's yeah.
And like, let's be honest, like we don't want to be just drafting guys that they played in black and white videos. Like,
I also avoided a lot of that.
You're
Yeah.
trying to pick things that, for the most part, that I remember.
Yeah.
And like, I could say Freddy Krueger isn't the scariest villain of all time, but Freddy Krueger is the scariest villain of all time if he haunted you like he haunted you guys, right? So it's like this means a little more to Chief. He's wearing a Bears hat right now, and Aaron Rodgers has gutted him for like 2 decades.
I hated for forever the people just saying Tom Brady's the GOAT because of the championships. I think that a lot more goes into a championship than one single solitary player. And like Tom Brady is the greatest to ever do it in football. Maybe, I don't know, you could argue top 5 ever athlete. Aaron Rodgers was the scariest quarterback I've ever laid eyes on. He fucking terrified me, and if I had one game, obviously this doesn't make sense because of the Super Bowl argument, but I thought he was the best quarterback I've ever seen. I think he's the single best quarterback I've ever
The
seen.
year they won it, like MVP Rodgers, when he was, because he could always run too. Like, he's like a
great
underrated runner.
Yeah.
And that's like, I see that in my nightmares, him on the run and just nailing a dart
like
on like a third and
like
fucking 14.
scrambling to his left and throwing back to his right 60 yards across.
I see it in my nightmares all the time.
Freak show.
Dave, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to go with draft class. I'm going to go with the 83 draft. It had, I believe, the second most Hall of Famers in one draft class ever. The first one was a bunch of names I never knew, and they were in like the 40s or something. So I'm going with this one. It had John Elway, Eric Dickerson, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, Darrell Green, Richard Denton, Bruce Matthews. That is fucking crazy from one draft class.
Yeah, and
that is fucking crazy.
There's the 30 for 30.
Great one.
About that draft class as well, because it was, I think,
Haven't seen it even.
6 quarterbacks taken in the first round.
Yep.
Like Dan Marino slid to 27. Like it's like a ridiculous draft.
You've never seen it?
Insane
How you not
draft.
going to
It's a great draft.
How you not
It's
going
a
to
great
mention
30 for-
Jimbo Covert,
Jimbo covered too, right?
Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Also,
I
even
listed
I
out all
think
the.
Richard Dent.
He said
I
that.
said Dan.
said Dan, all right.
Yeah.
a little note from that draft too that I think gets left out. Obviously, the Elway trade was such a big part of it. Chris Hinton was who he got traded for, who ended up being like a perennial Pro Bowl.
He
guard.
was
Northwestern
guy. That's
And,
right.
like doesn't get like they act like he's like some like
Yep.
slouch. He was a very good player for a long.
He was like a stud tackle forever. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll say this though, I'm disappointed in you drafting this and never seeing the 30 for 30
You should watch it.
because the
It's great.
30 for
Yeah.
30 was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never thought like, ooh, what's the best draft class ever? So I just
Yeah.
Googled everything, and
Yeah.
I think it was 11 was the most Hall of Famers for one in 1964, but I didn't know. I knew Roger Staubach on that list, so I'm going with this one. I see these names, I'm like, freak show, freak show, freak show, freak show, freak show.
So, well, I'll save it because whatever. You're up again, Dave.
Hold on, Clem's got some.
We also need to just like, I wish people just, I don't know. I just love John Elway. I feel like we just need to just, like, John Elway was a fucking freak, and he carried just dog shit teams to the Super Bowl, got their doors blown off because, like you said, Dave, it's a team sport, and he was just so fucking good. The Baltimore Colts just losing a guy like that must have haunted them until they until they lost their team, then stole the team, the Browns from Cleveland. But he was just a man. And Dan Marino falling in that draft, I think there was cocaine rumors, and then he ends up in Miami in the 80s. It's fucking bananas in itself.
I
right?
think it was actually just weed, if I remember.
Oh, it's just weed?
Oh, he smokes weed.
Yeah.
Gotta.
No, don't they in the 30 for 30 they talk about that they thought he did coke?
I thought it was weed in the documentary.
I think it was Coke.
Was
Because
it?
then they even had somebody who they talked about was the lineman Jim the guy that was the lineman, is it Jimbo?
Jimbo
Covert.
Covert.
That was his tackle. And he said they like talked to him, and he said other teams asked about Marino a lot, and he was like, no, like he's a solid guy, like not a crazy like part. He was basically, I think he liked to go out and have a few drinks, but he wasn't some like obviously
Party
some
animal.
like cokehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, maniac.
Did they even have cocaine in Pittsburgh in the 80s? Like, that's where we went to school, right? Like, they didn't even make it up there by that point? It's too much fucking, like, steel workers to be doing cocaine.
I think in the 80s, cocaine was in the drinking water.
And especially in Miami.
Yeah.
Especially Miami.
Dave, you're up again.
I'm gonna go with Steele. I'm gonna go with Joe Montana. 82nd overall. Many people said for a long time that he was the GOAT as far as quarterbacks are concerned. Multiple Super Bowls. You get someone in the third round that's, you can consider the GOAT for at least some stretch, that's a steal.
This is where I wish White Sox Dave was like 55, because I know White Sox Dave would be like, he's a system quarterback.
Would I have said that?
I think you would. I
don't know.
It's kind of small.
Yeah.
Like he was.
I don't remember him playing very much. Like the very tail end of his career.
My only memory of him as like a real human being was actually him on the Chiefs. I was like,
same with me. Yeah. Like I was young.
It was he was on the cover of like the Sega NFL game on the Chiefs, and that's like my only real memory of him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he is.
And he's a third rounder.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the first time I heard of system quarterback, and like not like just a whatever system quarterback, but like he's part of the elite system, because then like Young will come in and be awesome, right?
Yep.
And it's like they relied on the shorter throws, so you don't need to have as much of an arm and this and that. But it's like a guy who just kept fucking winning. It's kind of funny that they got Montana, but they missed out on Rodgers, who was a Niners fan. They missed out on Brady, who was a Niners fan. They always talk about those three, right, as steals.
Yeah.
Phil Simms at number 7 in that draft.
He went to like Morehead State or something weird, right? Yeah.
Bears took Dan Hampton in that draft. 4 overall.
Good pick.
Jack Thompson was 3 overall by the Bengals.
Well, Montana was like, did he win a national championship with Notre Dame? I don't know what Notre Dame was in those years.
I think he was a backup on the team that won it in like 77, but he had like a very famous like Notre Dame lore game. They call it the chicken soup game, where they were playing Houston in like the Cotton Bowl, and he was like sick as a dog, and then he had chicken soup at halftime, and he led like a miracle comeback, and they won.
One thing you can't discount, like I'm sure the guy in the Niners was banging the table in the 3rd round. He's like, Joe Montana. That's the name of a fucking Super Bowl champion, right? Like Joe Montana. I mean, maybe it's just because I grew up when he was like that guy, but it was like Joe Montana just sounded like a fucking legend.
Sounds like he should be smoking cigs and
Montana. Chief, you're up.
But I think Bill Walsh was like, he's our guy. Like I think it was actually Bill Walsh.
That makes sense.
I'll go with class as well. I'll go with 1989, and this class was like the class that would define like my childhood. It was like Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders. I want to get the whole class.
Double Sanders.
The top 5 is ridiculous.
Troy Aikman went number 1. Barry Sanders went 3. Derek Thomas, R.I.P., went number 4. Deion 5. It was like a who's who of guys who got drafted.
Tony Mandarich out of Michigan State.
Yep, steroid guy.
The all-time great steroid guy.
Steve Atwater, who I think in my brain is still the hardest hitting safety who ever lived. He knocked himself and then 2 players out in the Super Bowl. Again, I think it was against the Falcons in like the late 90s. So there's just like there might be better classes than this, but this to me, like these were the guys that I like. These guys made me love football. Like Deion and Barry Sanders made me love football as a kid. So I wanted these guys. Why are you giggling at that?
I'm just laughing at Tony Mandarich. Like he was just the prototypical, like the picture of a guy they would show you in health class of like why steroids are bad.
You haven't seen the program, right?
No.
Clem, have you seen the program?
Yeah, he's the linebacker.
He's
right?
the linebacker. That's Tony Mandarich. I don't know anything about Tony Mandarich aside from I have a football card of him. I had one when I was growing up, and it said that he was credited, I believe it was against Ohio State, with 27 knockdown pancake blocks in one game in college. And if you look at this guy, his neck goes from like his earlobes to his shoulder, like definition of steroids. But back to the draft class.
That top 5 is just insane.
4 Hall of Famers and then Tony Mandarich.
that's kind of just a bad beat for Tony Mandarich. You know,
should have kept taking steroids, Ed.
Yeah.
I always go on like I go on Wikipedia to look at the draft classes, and when it's like it's like a golden yellow, that means Hall of Famer, and it's golden yellow, white, which means nothing. Tony Mandarich, golden yellow, golden yellow, golden yellow, and it's Barry, Deion, like cool ass guys, winners like Troy Aikman, and legends like Derek Thomas. It's incredible,
crazy. Ev, you're up again.
I'm gonna go. No one's done moment yet, so I'm gonna go a moment. I think it's the one that stands out the most, probably recently, and really one of the more that stands out. I think like all time is, the Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
I think I'm stealing this at pick 8. This, I think, could have been a first. I mean, that day, and I think Clem could probably attest to this. As a Giants fan, that rocked my world. I still sit here to this day and think that is what started tail spinning this franchise. That happening. Obviously, Tunzel, he posted himself. He gets hacked or whatever, blackmailed by like the manager, like guy in the family, whatever. Posts a picture from his own account or a video from his own account smoking a gas mask. Hilarious video. That comes out legitimately, 2 hours, I think, before the draft?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, like day of. I can still remember the day, immediately just knowing, oh my God, like the Giants need a lineman. Like it was no brainer. And it wasn't even for the Giants to take him. If you remember more like that draft, he was going to be the first tackle, like no brainer. And then Ronnie Stanley, who obviously is going to have a phenomenal career, was going to be the second tackle. It was like no brainer. Giants are going to get that guy. He's going to be our tackle. We're going to move forward. Tunzel thing happens. You know anything about the Giants, especially that time, they don't touch anything like that. The most clean-cut franchise ever. It's 2016? 17?
Yeah, 2016.
So no gas. So like gas mask, he's done off the board immediately. They end up taking Eli Apple, and if you remember the draft too, we were, I believe, 10th, and we got traded up twice in front of us for the two guys we wanted. Jack Conklin, who ended up being like a good lineman, and then Leonard Floyd. You guys did the Bears. So then I think the Giants were in a frenzy. They didn't know what to do. The Ravens just took Stanley instead of taking Tunzel, and it was just chaos. And the Giants have just been god awful since then.
Yeah, I will also say
insane moment.
This might be like the last great day of Twitter. Because like after that, it was like
Trump
the Trump like stuff was like I think he had secured the nomination, and then like the whole internet just became not as fun.
What it is today.
That day, draft day 2016, I think that was the last truly great day on.
Like you just sat there in anticipation, like, oh, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it?
You could call him a steal too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
he's had five Pro Bowls. He starts like every game.
I think he might be the highest paid tackle of all time, like cumulatively. Like he's got a couple
probably and has had zero off the field issues, unless I'm forgetting something.
He probably smoked.
He never leaves the couch.
In 2021, he was hurt.
The Giants should have just taken him. They absolutely should have just taken him.
He's just been a linchpin Pro Bowl left tackle for years now, and he slid because he smoked weed.
It was aggressive, though. Like I will
but if you fast forward,
hand up. I saw a gas mask picture. I'm like, this guy. It's one thing if you're just smoking a joint or something. If you own a gas mask bong, you're
a college kid.
Yeah, it's a little bit more intense.
Also, the video is so funny because like.
What a narc chief is.
This is Podhead Dave talking now.
See him, and him just pulling the gas mask up with that little like smirk on his face.
He's laughing.
With all the smoke coming out. It's so funny.
What do you think?
Look back on now, oh my God.
He was thinking when he was just like, ooh, I'm going to pop up Twitter today, see whatever, all the hubbub, and then he's like, fuck.
I mean, he should sue that guy. That guy cost him like probably like $5-10 million.
Maybe even way more than that. Well,
sliding from like, he was going to go a top 5. He ended up going like 14th. That's a ton of money.
I think 11th, but he would have been locked for 13th. Yeah.
Did he go 11th? Oh, 13th. I knew he didn't go right after the Giants, but I knew soon after.
That was so fun.
Just an all-time moment. And I can't believe that nobody has hunted down the person who posted this. Like, talk about an all-time vindictive asshole. Like, what did Laramie Tunsil
do? It was like some man. It was like
inside job,
in his family or like a manager type.
Dad or something. Yeah, there was something about it. Yeah. I was at the Giants draft party. Like, I don't know if the Bears do this, but like the Giants, if you're a fan, you could go in, like you watch the game on the big screen, go on the field, whatever. And I remember being like, holy shit, he might fall to us. And at this point, I'm not thinking like John Mara probably like wiped his name off the board. Don't you dare even touch this guy. And then you're just watching him fall. Ronnie Stanley's gone, and we've needed a lineman. Eli's getting his ass kicked at this point since, basically the Super Bowl. And then as soon as they drafted Eli Apple, if you go back to my blog from that night in 2016, I say the Giants draft Eli Apple, parentheses, not Laramie Tunsil, at pick 10, and I just rip it apart, being like, we need this guy. Eli Apple, like, what was he? Doesn't know how to cook or something like that. And he's fucking like 22 years old. And it's like a college kid was smoking weed. Now, granted, gas mask, but come on. We all smoked weed out of weird shit in like college, bongs, whatever it may be. That's not wasting weed. That's good fucking like being like financially sound. So from the moment that happened, I knew we were fucked. However, like you guys said, all-time great moment. The memes that came out of it were 10 out of 10 the entire night. It was incredible. Great moment. Terrible for the Giants.
It's a good pick. It was my next pick. I was hoping to get it just because of the absurdity of it. It might have been the last good day at Twitter. It's a good call.
Yeah.
It's to me, I'm going to take this as a moment. I got to take Poopy Pants Eli with the Chargers jersey. Like the fact that he looked like someone stole his bike. Eli Manning standing at the podium with a fucking Chargers jersey was an all-time visual that I don't think I'll ever forget.
Yeah.
Like you could see it.
He's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You getting a shit boot out of him.
Yeah.
And his dad like orchestrated the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like,
And then Peyton came out and said that there were teams that he would have done the same thing.
it is crazy
Or-
that it was like, what is wrong with Sandy? Like Phillip Rivers went and had a great career there
Great
for
career,
a long
yeah.
time.
Well,
No, the Chargers, the ownership sucks with the Charger. It's like it's kind of like the White Sox and then like the old Mets. They do just enough to keep you relevant, but they never go the extra mile. And that's the way. Like, look at the Spanoses. They've always been like that. They were playing in the shitty stadium in LA, and like if you ask Ken Jack, I'm sure he could like rant about it. But I'm also defending my guy Eli, hands up. But like I feel like there were certain like if say the Steelers had number one pick, I don't think he pulls this move to go to New York.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Well, I think isn't it a thing with the Chargers? Aren't they like when they do those like end of the year like food and travel? Aren't they always like towards the bottom of a lot of
the
those
like
categories?
player anonymous
Yeah, like
polls
they
or
just
whatever.
don't. Yeah, like they don't spend money on like. I guess now I think they have new facilities like now, but until I think like very recently they had old like food was garbage there. Like they're just cheap everything.
When they moved to LA, did they?
I mean, that's all time. His face.
Oh, he's got the
face.
ultimate dumb fucking Southern frat boy face.
Like,
it's so punchable.
Can't believe I was here. Yeah, that was all time.
I'd actually like to ask Kenja, how hated is he?
Spanos?
No, Eli in San Diego. Not that Kenjack's from there. Is he? He's not from there, right?
No.
No,
No.
he
He's
grew up in
just a
Long
Chargers
Island.
fan. Yeah. Yeah. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, because
yeah.
you also didn't really know from what I remember. Like, are they going to do it? And even though they might,
Yeah.
like, people thought, and then they kind of called their bluff, even though I'm sure the trade was already well talked
out,
about
yeah,
before
yeah.
then. But still, just like the fact that it's stupid, they make him trot up there and hold the jersey for no reason.
I feel like that happens in the NBA a lot.
Yeah, like they won't
They
like.
go like, here's your Timberwolves hat.
no,
We're
dude.
about to be traded to
Yeah.
fucking somewhere else.
Oh, and
It's already
and
been announced. Yeah,
Give him the real hat.
yeah.
That was my spring weekend at college, and we were all seniors. We were all just drinking, and we heard about the Eli rumors. And then when he goes up, and we're just like, "Fuck! The Chargers took him." And then you start hearing the rumblings, and you see him, and he's so pissed. We're like, "Look, he's not happy." And then when it all happened, and then it was one of the greatest days of my life. I'm not ashamed to admit that. And Eli would have put up numbers in San Diego too, because I don't think people realize like the Meadowlands is a goddamn wind tunnel. No quarterback really ever thrives there. I think Eli would have put up like much better numbers in San Diego, but I don't think he wins a Super Bowl because again, I don't think they like go the extra mile. And the thing that held up that trade, the Chargers wanted Osi Umenyiora, and of course he refused to trade him. He wanted Eli. They ended up trading Rivers, Sean Merriman, and I think the third round pick was Nate Kading, and we got Eli. It was win-win.
It was kind of one of those trades that, and Drew Brees was still there, right? At that point, wasn't he
Yes,
still like
yeah.
he had one more year? in
it was
San
something
Diego?
weird. I was gonna
Yeah.
say bring him up, because he was decent there too.
He like
was
started
good on the
slow,
Chargers.
and then he had like a couple of very
Yeah.
good years. Yeah,
Clem, you're up.
Ooh, I could go a lot of different ways here. I guess I'll start with. I don't. the jet video of the draft blunders, is that a fucking moment? I don't
I do love that video every year. The Jets just boo the pick no matter who it is, basically.
I guess I feel like we probably have to disqualify that as a moment, but that's one of I used to post that every year on the blog. I guess the Vikings not making their pick and then like every other team starting to jump in. It was one of those when if you're a lot, it's like a little bit of draft nerdy thing, but it was so much fun. You're always waiting like 15 minutes for the picks, but then once anyone could pick, it was instant. Boom, boom, boom. So the Vikings they were on the clock. They were trying to work out a trade with the Ravens. They missed their pick. So then the Jaguars immediately run up, draft Leftwich. Then the Panthers run up and draft Jordan Gross, and the Vikings are just like, what the fuck? And then they end up taking Kevin Williamson with the pick. There was rumors they kind of did this on purpose to like save money on because it's a lower pick, but I don't know if that was true or not. But it was one of those things that as it was happening live, it was incredible to watch.
This is one of that story where it's like if Belichick did that, it would be like, oh, this is what a genius
Evil
move.
genius, yeah.
But it was Mike Tice, who was like a fucking buffoon. So it's like, what?
Remember when he was the Bears offensive coordinator?
I do, Dave.
Oof.
Yeah, I just don't get how this happens.
I remember this happening, but like in real time, I don't remember what my thoughts were. But like, if that happened today, that should be instant. Every single person involved at this is fired right now.
Gotta be.
Every single person. The entire front office, every scout, like everybody is gonzo.
Yeah, gotta be.
Did that happen? I don't even, like, it had to have, right? Like,
I don't recall, to be honest.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually everyone gets fired, right? The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. They're the official partner, sports betting partner of the NBA. And all the playoff games through the finals, now's the time to back your favorite players and the teams as they chase glory. All season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Want to make your playoff experience even more interesting? Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance, or they drop 30 points, 40 or more. It's your call. Ready to place your first bet? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Lock in your bets, and let's make this playoff run unforgettable. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DOGWALK. That's code DOGWALK for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. You're up again, Clem.
This kind of is like the lesser, more modern version of what Ed took, but it's the Ricky Williams trade. Mike Ditka, I mean, just an absolute crazy person, like telegraphing this from like before the draft, saying for months how much he loved Ricky Williams, and he's like, I'll trade my whole draft, and then traded the whole draft for fucking running back, which would cause like riots in the streets these days. But even back then, it was like, this is crazy, and Ricky Williams is pretty fucking good. He wasn't even the first running back taken. I believe Adrian James was the first one taken in that draft.
No, I think Adrian James went 4, and Ricky Williams went 2.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost positive, yeah.
But just an absolutely wild moment as it took place. I remember when they were on the ESPN, the magazine cover, where he's wearing a wedding dress.
Yeah.
Like, shit just got really weird with Ditka really fast. No, Adrian James was 4, Ricky Williams was 5.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I stand corrected.
It was 3 quarterbacks, 1, 2, 3, then Ricky Williams, Torrey Holt, Champ Bailey. Sick draft. And Mike Ditka traded it all for Ricky Williams.
Yeah,
he traded the first and third rounder next year too.
Yeah.
Traded every pick in that draft, and then first and third the next year.
Ricky Williams was awesome in college, though.
He was
incredible in the pros.
Yeah.
Just not with the Saints, really. I guess he was okay with Dolphins. He was unbelievable.
Dolphins was great, yeah.
What do you think he's doing these days?
Smoking weed.
He's with that dude on the goat farm that you were talking about.
I met him this summer. I played in Troy Smith's golf outing, and he also played in it.
Oh.
Where was he?
He was just doing the damn thing. He was smoking.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting on a beach somewhere, smoking weed, enjoying life?
I think so. I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know
for
where,
him.
but yeah, he came out to Troy Smith's golf outing. Ricky Williams, did he win the Heisman?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. They're Heisman brethren. That's what. Yeah.
He was like, I think he finished college as the all-time leading rusher for college.
Isn't that Barry Sanders like still?
No, I mean for career.
Wouldn't you love to smoke a fatty boom blighty with him, Dave?
Oh yeah. Would you?
Yeah, he'd probably be a top 10 person to smoke with.
Definitely.
Do it? Would that be?
We
that
tried.
break
For
your
sure.
threshold?
For sure.
The guys I was playing with, actually, when he drove by us in the cart, I was playing with like a little crew they had, and we were smoking a joint, and he offered it to Ricky. Ricky said no.
Oh, damn.
I think he had his. I think he was kind of just. I think he was kind of just like, hey, like I'm getting out of here.
Yeah. I was on the Yak Christmas special last year, and we all got like signed memorabilia, and I got a Ricky Williams signed Dolphins helmet that says "Puff Puff Pass." So
There you go.
That's awesome. That's phenomenal.
That is kind of awesome.
Do you think Ricky ever smoked out of a gas mask, or do you think that's like Ricky was more just like enjoyed the whole weed smoking out of a joint process?
Ricky's got a different colored gas mask for every team he's been on. Like, he's got a Texas orange. He's got them all. Yeah, Ditka. What the fuck was he doing?
He's an old school guy. You got to have a running back.
He was a little past his prime at that point.
You think? Or
Maybe a lot past it.
and like a lot egotistical about what?
Maybe a little bit.
Well,
He was
that
arrogant about it too. I remember
yeah.
the press conference, like he's like, "We're good." Like, like we got the guy. Like all these idiots. Like we got the guy. We're set.
You can take my Chicago card away from me for this question, but where was he prior to the Saints? Ditka.
I think he was
Yeah, I think he.
Bears and then
Saints.
several years off.
Yes.
and then Saints.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Was there was an
Yeah.
off? Okay.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah.
Like a team in between.
Do you think like Walter Payton broke his brain where he's like, I need my Walter Payton, and this will be my Walter Payton?
Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. He says his
'Cause-
biggest regret's not getting Walter a touchdown in the Super Bowl instead of giving it to the fridge. So maybe he just needed to like right that wrong.
Yeah, most people say trading a whole draft for fucking Ricky Williams was their biggest regret.
Yeah, right. Okay, it's back to me. I mean, there's only been one bust taken, so I feel like I'm getting good value here. But like, we can't talk bust without talking about Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the 1-2s for that category.
Yeah, it's Ryan Leaf.
Him screaming at that reporter. Yeah, that was. He's actually doing really well now. He spent a lot of time in the clink, and now he's like a motivational speaker.
Yeah,
And
he like goes on sports shows all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And, like
yeah.
talks about cautionary tale type shit. So good for him.
Yeah, he's flipped it around big time. So, but
yeah, it's not
one of
easy.
all time great busts.
Yeah. He was like the first big time athlete I can remember being named Ryan. So I was like, this guy's gonna be my guy. Like I love this guy. I think I was like 10. And then it was like, oh yeah, he's not it. There was like a debate at one point. Do you take Peyton or Ryan
Yeah.
Leaf too? Can you imagine if they had taken him one and then Peyton goes two?
I think the Colts as a franchise don't exist anymore.
That's very possible.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think Indiana warms up to.
Yeah, you're probably
I don't
right.
think they do.
We should have asked McNeil that yesterday.
Yeah, so Ryan Leaf, he's got to be on this list. So that's my pick. Have your backup.
So, can I like for a trade? I don't know how. Can I still do Eli Charger like the Chargers Giants trade? Because I feel like the trade is more of the true like. It almost is the trade is more of the moment, if you will, like the trade itself, like just all of it unfolding, or is it just kind of off the board?
If you want, I mean, that was kind of like a deep defensive play by me too, but if
That's
you
like
want
kind
to,
of
you
like I
can.
guess it's like the same thing basically.
Because
I'll
obviously,
go. I guess I'll pivot off it. I guess 'cause it's kind of off the board. I'll go with a steal. I'll go with Terrell Davis. I think he was a 7th rounder, I believe. MVP, multiple time All Pro, Super Bowl MVP, one of the best running backs in the game for a while. I think he's the next. There's some good steals out there still, but I think he was the next best one. Yeah, I mean, an all-time great. I'll take him as a third.
He only
steal.
played like 6 years, right? Something like that.
yeah, he had like a shorter career.
Because he had the migraines, I believe,
He had the migraines in the Super Bowl.
in the Super Bowl. But
They're
it
like
was
the big
like
thing was like just run like our lines.
Just run straight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, I can't see. Like, doesn't matter.
Just go.
just go. And he was
I think-
unbelievable.
I think it was like knee issues and shit that stopped his career. He had the migraines too. He played, I'm looking at it right now. He played 4 seasons. So he played 3 seasons. His last 3 was 4 games, 5 games, and 8 games. But he played 4 like full seasons, and he made the Hall of Fame. It's crazy. Think about that for a second. 4 seasons, and he was that fucking good. And I'm an old man. I watched him. I had him as a rookie on my fantasy team. That's how old I am. He was fucking awesome. I had Terrell Owens and Terrell Davis. I didn't know who either of them were. We just picked them up because we liked their names. He was the fucking truth, man. He might be the best running back I've ever seen.
Dude, I didn't even realize that. So he played 7 total years he was in the league, but he only had 4 full seasons.
Nuts. 2,008 yards.
MVP,
Nuts.
2 offensive players of the year, Super Bowl MVP. Unbelievable.
Can you make the Hall of Fame if you only have played for 4 years?
And
Well,
did,
he
yeah,
was
he made
played for 7, but he only had 4 full seasons.
I know.
The other 3, 4 games, 5 games, 8 games.
Yeah, I
And he
know.
only had like 200 total yards those seasons.
Yeah, I mean, Gale Sayers was the same way. so.
Right. That's Gale Sayers set that precedent.
Yeah, for sure. And he
It's
had
also like looking back too, like he was like, was it a Shanahan thing though? Because like that after he retired, like they were just wheeling dudes out. Fucking Mike Anderson, who was a fullback,
Yeah.
and all these other guys were putting up huge numbers, and they got Portis, who was awesome. But it did feel like a little bit of a system, but he was awesome.
that sucks. He probably made no money.
I will tell you right now, I'm on his reference page. He made a total of. Oh, and I don't think I can find it here. Sorry, boys.
He made $18.9 million.
It's actually more than I would have thought.
Yeah, me too. But if he was like a little bit longer, he would have got paid. You are up, Chief.
I'll do. This is like a sliding doors kind of trade. I'll take the Chiefs trading up with Buffalo to get Patrick Mahomes. So they went from 27 up to 10. They take Mahomes. They gave up the 27th pick, their first round pick next year, and a 3rd round pick. The Bills the following year took Josh Allen 7, and then they traded up and they took Tremaine Edwards 16. So it's you ended up with Josh Allen and Tremaine Edwards, but then the Chiefs get Mahomes, and obviously like they have dominated the NFL
And dominated
that rivalry.
that rival. Right.
Yeah. So I'll take the Chiefs getting Mahomes.
Yeah, this is one that is so modern that it probably won't. It doesn't get like the
In real time, it was like
list
a
love,
complete
but
whatever.
it'll eventually age into
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and you also wonder like, what does Mahomes become if he goes to Buffalo? Like I know the Bills are good, but I also feel like Josh Allen is perfect for them, and Mahomes is perfect for
Andy Reid, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird exercise, yeah.
Yeah, it's an all-time trade.
Yeah.
I mean, even present day, it's an all-time.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was just like no one batted it. It was just whatever. It's standard
Trubisky
NFL
was off
trade.
the board. What are they
Yeah.
doing? Trading up to 10
Yeah.
for some? Was he the 3rd quarterback take?
Yeah, Watson.
He was
Yeah.
the 3rd quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
Or no, maybe was he? He actually might have went right before. Did he go before Watson?
No.
Watson might have went 12th, and he went 10th.
I'll
Maybe
pull it up.
You might be right, Ev.
Watson might have went right after. But I like the Chief. I like the pick. It was on my board for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Mitch went 2. Mahomes went 10. Watson went 12.
Is he still the Bears quarterback if they take him at 2?
Probably not.
I think yes.
I think
think
they
the Super Bowls, but I
probably
think it's-
fuck him up.
I think probably yes because he's that good, but there's a good shot they fuck him up.
He like that was
Yeah.
he needed a year behind Alex Smith. They probably would have thrown him right to the Wolves eventually his rookie year.
Probably dog shit offensive line, I'm sure, and he probably would have been snapped in half in PTSD.
It's crazy.
Who was
He's
the fucking the human neck that they signed?
Glennon.
Yeah, Mike Glennon.
Oh, same thing happened.
that long.
Yeah.
The whole city wanted Trubisky in there, and then Glennon played like what
4 games. I think. Yeah, I started 4 games.
Was Mahomes on like your guys' radar? Like I really
No,
at that point,
not really. No.
I really
Watson
Not really.
was obviously, but
yeah.
But it wasn't even a foregone conclusion that we were going quarterback in that draft.
right.
Like that's the thing.
I do have tweets out there from draft night being like, "This is a shit pick for Trubisky."
Was we still had Jay under contract?
Did they?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought
or was that 1 year prior?
I think
that
there
was
was
the
a
year
gap
before.
year. Yeah.
I think Jay played the year before in 16. He was a quarterback. Then
You're right. You're
yeah,
right.
and then
fucked that
Glennon
up.
came in,
Mm-hmm.
and then they drafted Mitch.
Crazy.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey also went 8th in that draft.
You're up, White Sox, Dave.
I unfortunately am going to kind of double up on a pick, but for best moment, Rodgers in the green room.
Yeah.
I know Chief picked it as a steal, but I think it's more of a moment because he was the first round pick.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I've had it down as a moment. I don't hate his pick.
But like every time they'd pan to him, he'd be visibly more fucking pissed off. And who knows if he becomes what he is, if the NFL and the rest of football didn't, diss him in his mind. And he just goes on a fucking warpath the next 20 years. Actually, it took him like 2 or 3. How long did he play behind Favre for?
3 years. Behind.
3 full years? Yeah.
And
I hate that
I
cocksucker.
think was it Favre's last game was against the Giants in 07?
No, it was against the
Corey Webster. Corey Webster retired Brett Favre.
Corey Wooten of Northwestern retired Brett Favre.
No.
Yes, he did. Corey Wooten of Northwestern retired Brett Favre.
That was, I'm sorry, his end with the Packers.
Oh,
Sorry,
Packers.
yeah,
Minnesota. Yeah.
Right. So Brett Favre's last game with the Packers was the NFC Championship in 07.
Where he threw the bomb and I remember making jokes to my buddy. I'm like, oh, he threw that up to his father who just died. I'm like, that was kind of mean of me, but yeah.
That's one of those things you didn't have to say.
I said it because it was Brett Favre. I said it because it was Brett Favre.
Use that for the clip this week. We'll see how that goes.
I'm not going crazy, right? Was that against the Giants when he threw the last interception?
I don't know.
And I was like,
that year.
no more fucking Brett Favre.
Had the famous like Monday night game where his dad died in the morning.
Is that what I'm talking about?
Threw for like 450 yards. And
he blew a game. He threw a game-ending pick.
Vikings
I'm like,
game.
he was chucking
Vikings,
that to his dad up in
Saints.
heaven.
The Saints game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
He threw it across the field.
Yeah.
Pick 6.
But I remember when Corey Wooten ended his career, I'm like, that's Boogeyman's gone. Like, ding dong, the witch is dead. Little did I know, it was just getting started. It was just getting started.
One of the craziest things about Rodgers, too, is how he literally just followed Brett Favre's. And I was hoping he was going to go to the Vikings just to fucking, like, put the final flag plant in it, right? Because it was crazy how he was, like, kind of, like, slipped in the draft or whatever. Favre got traded from Atlanta, goes, becomes, like, a superstar, has, like, a falling out with the front office, goes to the Jets, and then goes to the Vikings. Did Favre haunt you guys, like... I imagine. I feel like Rodgers haunted you guys more somehow, but
I don't remember.
We were young.
Yeah, I don't remember Favre's early career. I don't remember him ever playing for the Falcons. I know he did, obviously, but he also threw a shit ton of picks, and I thought he was a little overrated. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever laid eyes on.
I mean, he went three MVPs straight in the 90s.
I know, but he's also the all-time leading interceptions still, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he does.
But he was a gunslinger.
Yeah, but you also have to be like good enough to be playing.
Yeah, no, I know. I did think he was. He didn't scare me like Rodgers did.
Well, when he retired, he had thrown the most touchdowns and picks, right?
Yeah,
that might be right. Yeah, kind of like Nolan Ryan. Strikeouts.
Do you think Rodgers fell because of all the shit we kind of know about him, where he is kind of an asshole? It's like you could be an awesome quarterback, but like part of the quarterback is like not being a cocksucker everyone hates, and it seems like his family hates him, and a lot of people.
The Niners had like their ear to the ground on like his background or something in California. Like it was a friend of a upper management VP said, "No, this guy's a bad guy."
You know who swears by him as like he's like the best dude is Marshawn Lynch.
I was just gonna say that, Chief. Yeah. He loves Rodgers.
Yeah, because they were at Cal together at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he said when Lynch was young, when he used to fuck up, he would always take the blame for it.
Yeah.
Even when it was just clearly Lynch's fault, he said he would always take the blame.
Like if they call a play and Lynch ran to the wrong side, so then Rodgers he's like, I fucked it up in the huddle. That's my bad. So
leader.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I want to talk about Ollie. If your dog could talk, they'd beg for Ollie. The full body tail wag, the little excited hops, the big goofy grin. That's the Ollie effect. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, even for the pickiest eaters. Made in U.S. kitchens with highest quality, human-grade ingredients, Ollie's food contains no filters, no preservatives, just real food. And here's the thing. Healthier food means a happier pup, more energy, shinier coats, better poops, and more excitement at mealtime. For any first-timers, Ollie will send out your pup's first box with 2 weeks worth of meals, a free storage container for mess-free serving, and a guide of how to gradually switch them over to their new diet. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/dogwalk. Tell them about your dog and use code DOGWALK to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's ollie.com/dogwalk and enter code DOGWALK to get 60% off your first box. You were up again, Dave.
I got best class, best steal.
You need a bust. And you need a
trade. Okay, I am going to go with, unfortunately, I don't really remember this one in real time as much, but looking back, it's just an awesome fucking trade because these two players are sweet as hell. I'm going to go the Michael Vick for LT trade. LaDainian Tomlinson trade.
It was like 1 for 5 or something.
Something like that, but both players, I'm on record as saying that LaDainian Tomlinson's the finest running back I've ever seen in my life. I think he was. I just loved watching it. There's athletes that you just like tune into when they're on TV, and he was one of them. And Michael Vick was also one of them when he was at his A game. That game he had with the Eagles where he had like 400 pass yards, 4 touchdowns, and like 200 yards rushing, 2 or 3 touchdowns. Like one of the all-time great games I've ever watched. So trading 2 of those types of players, one up for each other, is pretty sweet.
Yeah, there's another similar story. I can't remember who. I think Ev brought it up about the DVDs for a player, and the Falcons would do the same thing. Like his second, third year in the draft, they'd send him with a playbook or a DVD, and it would be empty, but they'd put like $100 bill in it. And then they just, at the end of the season, he just had all these DVDs in the back of his car that were just open. If you opened them up, he would have like
hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
That's they talk about that in the movie Draft Day.
Oh, is that right?
That was like the thing. He's like, it's like the Browns. They have like this guy already is the quarterback, and he's like, oh, like they put $100 bill in the back of it. He's like, he didn't even know it was there or whatever. He's like, you know what? Like this guy did. He handed it back to me and said, give it back to me when I win you a Super Bowl, coach. That was like the big mic dropper. I gotta put it like the last page of the playbook.
I gotta say, I'm so happy the NFL has figured that out with signing their draft picks. You know, because it says right here, like I'm reading about the trade. The Chargers, who had the first round pick, or who held the first pick, were unable to reach a contract agreement with Vic weeks leading up to the draft. So that's why they traded it. And I know there's still like little hiccups, like Roquan, like there was an issue with, like little stipulations, but
for the most
being
part,
a fan, like it's all slide. That was a major move.
Like that's the thing with baseball. It's still an issue, right? Like it's where you're slotted for how you're drafted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy.
That's how much money you get.
Yeah. But guys will take like an inferior prospect, right?
So they can backload their draft.
Yeah.
Also, I was directionally correct. Cutler was still on the roster. They bought him out, signed Glennon, and then drafted Trubisky. So they could have effectively kept Cutler.
Glennon made like $18 million that year.
They paid him $35, but they didn't pay him that much. Sorry, that was the deal. Chief, you're up.
Back to me. I need a bust and a moment.
Yeah.
I'll take Zach Wilson.
He was on my list.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, Jets. Like, I feel like they have a never-ending string of busts. I remember thinking Zach Wilson was going to be good. I liked him at BYU, and but like now, where is he now? Back up for the
Denver,
Broncos.
The Jags. No, is it
no, Denver.
Dolphins.
To our point.
You don't know.
This wasn't that long ago,
right?
And we don't know where he is. So Zach Wilson, all the stuff with the mom, like he was the quintessential kind of modern day bust. Zach Wilson.
I have a buddy that college buddy. He was a great football player. I really respect his opinion on any time he says, watch this guy. It doesn't matter what sport it is, because he just knows how to identify an athlete and what an athlete looks like. I got a text from him like 9 p.m. This is in the middle of pandemic, I want to say. And he's like, turn on BYU right now. They were playing like San Diego State or some shit. He's like, watch this quarterback. I would take him first overall right now. And I remember, I'm like, this guy is unfucking believable. And he was unfucking believably bad.
I thought he was awesome to watch in college.
No, in college he was unbelievable
to
watch. And then he got to the NFL and he was just horrifically bad.
So, like, if you see the highlights of Zach Wilson, you're like, yeah, 1-1, absolute star. This is the thing, though. And this is the God's honest truth. The moment I knew he was fucked is that infamous viral video of him at the draft with all the other dudes, and and he's holding up, he's like in the middle, and all the other guys are just huge jack motherfuckers, and then there's little Zach, you know what I'm talking about? Little Zach Wilson next to him, and it's like, that guy, I don't know if he has it, and then sure enough, Jets.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. I think
it is too.
I think that's another. You've been back-to-back picks where like haven't properly aged yet.
Yeah,
but like I think in 10 years
they'll be
Zach Wilson will be.
He fizzled out so quick that he might be so forgettable that he might not even be considered a big-time bust. That's how like just nothing he is.
I also think that when being picked by a major market like New York helps you with your draft bust.
But what helps him too is that whole class was doo-doo.
Yeah.
That was Field.
Besides Trevor. Which
the quarterback class.
The quarterback class, yeah. It was Fields, him, Mac Jones.
Even Trevor is like... I thought Trevor was going to be Andrew Luck, and he's not. He's not that good.
He got a second contract, but he's not like...
He got a big contract.
Yeah.
He was hyped like that. He was the can't-miss guy. Like he was
hyped like that as a senior in high school.
Yeah, before that.
Yeah.
But then he won a national championship.
Yeah.
He's not done yet, though.
No, he's not.
No.
But... I don't think he's on some Hall of Fame path.
No. Ev, you're up.
I'm going to take a draft class here. There's a good one. I'm going to take the 96 class. The Ravens knocked it out of the park. They had 2 Hall of Famers in the first round. So they had 6 Hall of Famers. Got Jonathan Ogden, Marvin Harrison, Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins, T.O., Zach Thomas. Bunch of studs, too, like Simeon Rice, Keyshawn Johnson, Eddie George, Teddy Bruschi, Malloy, well in that class too. Really strong class, a lot of Hall of Famers. Like I said, some like dominant, no doubter Hall of Famers. Arguably the best inside linebacker of all time, maybe the best tackle of all time. T.O. and Marvin Harrison. T.O. doesn't get the respect he deserves. He has like the second most touchdowns in NFL history.
Yeah.
T.O. and Marvin probably top 10 receivers of all time.
Definitely.
Oh, definitely for sure.
Just
you could say
class.
that Jonathan Ogden and Ray Lewis are the 2 greatest players at their position ever.
And definitely gonna make that case.
Same draft class by the same team. That's nailing a draft right there.
Did you say Mike Allstott, Ev?
Oh no, I didn't. So yeah, there you go, Mike Allstott.
Fucking Allstott, sold.
Unreal. Like Keyshawn went 1 overall.
Oh jeez, fucking Jets, man. Keyshawn wasn't bad, but still.
Yeah, good career, but
not as cool as those other guys.
No. 33 Pro Bowlers. Yeah, good class. 96 good class.
It's a good class.
I think Mike Allstott, I want to say, had 350 rushing yards in the state championship at JCA's senior year in a loss to Wheaton Warrenville South High School. Fun fact. We had a Madden franchise in college, and you were allowed 1 trade because we don't want everyone just to make fantasy rosters. My buddy uses 1 trade on Mike fucking Allstott, a fullback. And then because he didn't play his game for the week because he was at class, we simulated it out for career. Had like a fucked up neck, like a herniated disc. And he came home, he goes, "What the fuck? You guys just simulated my game and saved it?" Yeah, lost it 1 trade, Mike Allstott out for career.
Brutal.
Did you guys play Madden franchises? That was like the best part of college, is you just had 8 dudes and you just play like 4 seasons in like a month.
We did that, but for the college NCAA. So we all had to start with a team outside the top 25. And that game, because of that situation where it's like, I got econ. Well, it's like, well, your game is up. So like I was on, after my freshman year, first semester, I was on academic probation. And I blamed that video game.
That's bad.
I'm going to stick with draft.
It was that video game's fault too.
Yeah.
And your buddies for being assholes for scheduling it while you had econ and shit.
But everybody got we had 4 guys in a quad, plus we adopted a 5th guy who like slept on the couch.
He was just a guy that lived there. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that story off camera, but he just he lived in a dorm upstairs, and then he moved into our quad. So we had 5 guys in a quad, and we all had a team. And it got like, if you were in the BCS National Championship game, like we would not go out on a Friday night. And we
Yes.
watch the game.
I'm going to take a draft class 2 because
You have to.
I have to, and it makes sense because Clem doesn't have his yet. I'm going to go 2004 class. 2004 class was who got me through my teens to my 20s. Great quarterback class, obviously. That's Eli Rivers, Roethlisberger, Larry Fitzgerald, Sean Taylor. I mean,
He would have been a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
yeah, unreal.
That's loaded.
It's a very good class, and like I said, like
Vince Wilfork,
Vince Wilfork, yes.
Stud. Freak.
Jared Allen.
Jared Allen.
Tommy Harris.
Yeah, it's
Jason Peters still playing? I feel like he is.
He played this last year. I'm pretty
He
sure.
played for the
Jeez.
Bears 2 years ago.
Was he playing for the Seahawks this year? And then he took like a front office role.
who's that? Sorry, who did you guys say?
Jason
I'm pretty sure he
Peters.
jumped straight from the sideline into the front office like this offseason.
Yeah, I think he finally stopped, which
Yeah.
I love that fucking guy.
Cole Kmet said that he's the best athlete he's ever played with, or one of the something like that.
Even
yeah.
at that age.
Another, I don't know if you rattled his name off, I might have missed it, but one of my all-time favorite football players is from that draft, Bob Sanders.
Oh yeah,
Bob Sanders. Yeah, that's
Animal.
what I mean. Like this
Yeah.
draft was so many of the guys that we grew up, like even the guys who didn't pan out, like the Kellen Winslow
Yeah.
and the Roy Williams.
he was a story.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he
Soldier.
was like omnipresent for a minute.
Guys, Robert Gallery. This is the Robert
Yeah.
Gallery.
Yeah, Matt Schaub.
Yeah, this was it.
Man, I didn't even have that on my list. What a class.
Jackson.
Love that class.
Jared Allen.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You were the Steven Jackson guy too.
Burner Turner, Michael the Burner Turner.
Yep.
Wow,
he
that is
he
Steven Jackson.
tore apart Sean Merriman in Maryland, and that's when I knew I'm like, I would love that guy on the Bears.
Bears drafted a quarterback.
Nathan Vasher.
Bears drafted a quarterback. That,
Vasher was pretty good.
can you think of who the
It wasn't Lefevre, was it?
No.
No.
Was it the Abilene Christian dude?
Took him in the 5th round, a quarterback.
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 The fifth
That was
round.
Kyle Orton.
Nope, he's on our T-shirt, the sad T-shirt. So he started, I think he had at least 5 starts.
So it wasn't he.
Quinn?
Nope.
Krenzel.
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 Yeah.
Craig Krenzel, Ohio State legend, Craig Krenzel.
'Cause-
Chicago Bear.
Orton, who did Orton get drafted behind? Who was the quarterback that year?
No, it was him and Grossman were the
Grossman.
quarterbacks.
Grossman got hurt, and then Orton started week 1, I remember.
Yeah.
This draft's awesome.
Yeah. This is like a memory lane.
That's an awesome draft. Good pick, Ed.
Wes Welker undrafted, and then Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson was in that Madden league as well. We would rename the rookies, so we drafted him. My buddy, instead of naming him Steven Jackson, he named him Horsemoo because that's what he said a queef sound like was a horsemoo. So then my buddy would run wild on another kid because they were in the same division, and he'd go horsemoo. You just hear people yelling horsemoo at 10 at night. College is the best.
Clem, you were up.
Alrighty, so I got to get a draft class and a bust. I'm kind of undecided on both here, but I'm just gonna grip it and rip it. I'm just gonna go 2017 because I got Patrick Mahomes leading the way with that. So I got Patrick Mahomes, I got CMC, I got Myles Garrett, I got TJ Watt, I got Cooper Kupp, I got Kamara, Lattimore, Deshaun Watson, all right, Tre'Davious White. We're hitting a bunch of different positions, guys who are MVPs or like defensive players of the year, the best at their position for a good chunk of time. So I think I didn't honestly even realize this class was so good, and I think obviously the story is not completely written on it. So 2017 draft class.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. This was a good, sneaky pick where I kind of overlooked it because it was so recent, but it has all, the makings of being an all-timer.
It could have the GOAT.
That could.
Yeah.
Yep.
It could. Good pick. And you're up again.
Thank you. All right, I'm between two here for bust. I was gonna go Mandarich because again, you're in the middle of that fucking fivesome, right? But I'm gonna go different here, and just what, fuck him. I don't know if I should say fuck him. I don't know if he's a friend or not. But I remember when Johnny Manziel used to bitch big time our boss all the time, had him all the way down at the draft. I had Dave throwing garbage bags at like 2 a.m. in the New York City streets. Johnny Football, for better, for worse, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was an absolute ride. And just like certain franchises appear with this bus more than most, and the Browns are kind of like the Jets. Giants are starting to move up that list, unfortunately, as well. So I'll go Johnny Football, just because like, it was like, what was he, like 20? It was like a later pick, but there was so much hype around it, and it ended so bad, so quick. I think he was another guy who was like the Johnny Football, I think it was Untold, where he was like, I just like didn't look at my playbook. I didn't give a fuck, basically.
Yeah, they gave him the iPad, and then they could see if he logged in, and he just like didn't log in once.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wasn't there like the story that, was it Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, was like asking fans on the way to the draft, like, should we take Johnny Manziel? Like,
he said like a homeless, wasn't he like a homeless guy or something outside like a gas station?
something like that. Yeah.
Basically, was like take Manziel, like you got to take Manziel or something,
And he
something
did.
like that.
And he
They-
did.
They spent like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on some draft program or some consulting firm, and they're like, Teddy Bridgewater is the smart pick for you. And they're like, okay, we're going Johnny Football, because a homeless guy told us.
But this is one where at least it wasn't a top 10 pick, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Like 20 seconds, like, don't work out all the time. This is more about who he is and, like, all the hype around him.
fanfare,
Yeah, like,
yeah.
this is, that's what kind of this one. I'm not saying it's a bad pick, but I'm saying, like, there's a little leeway here.
Has
Like,
he
it's-
kind of turned it around too recently?
Johnny?
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
I don't know.
The Untold ended a little like.
Yeah, definitely.
The ending was almost, to be honest, it was almost awkward.
Yeah.
Because usually when you do a documentary, there's like you've kind of like gotten to the other side of the rainbow, and he kind of even his
Yeah.
family was like, yeah, he's
Alive.
here, like
We're
yeah,
hoping
like
for
he's
the
alive.
best.
Like,
Yeah.
he's like he's hanging around still.
I'm up. I'm going to go a recent one, too, and Tyreek Hill is going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's won a Super Bowl. He's an absolute freak. He was drafted in the 5th round,
Where did he go to college?
which is insane.
He went to Oklahoma State and got kicked out,
Okay.
and then went to a small school, I think in Oklahoma.
I'm mixing him up. I was going to say Toledo, but
I was going to say
that's what's
Toledo,
his
too.
face.
That was Kareem Hunt. He went to
Yeah,
Toledo.
that's Kareem
Oh,
Hunt,
there you
yes.
go. Another scum.
He went to West Alabama.
West
Yeah,
Alabama.
I think he was.
Yes.
I think he was at OK State first, and
You're
then
right.
had the incident.
Wasn't the guy who, why am I blanking on his name?
You're right. He went to JUCO, OK State, and then West Alabama.
Wasn't the guy who had the interception against the Falcons, didn't he go to West Alabama too? Or I'm sorry, against the Patriots, against the Seahawks.
Oh, Malcolm Butler.
I think he was a West Alabama guy too.
I'm not
That would
sure.
be fucking insane if they had.
Is that like a last chance you?
Yeah, like an independent.
No, it's a real. It's I think it's like a D1
They have had, it looks like,
or
8
D1 like double
NFL
A.
players, and none of them I've heard of aside from Tyreek Hill.
Any qualms with Tyreek?
Malcolm-
Oh, Malcolm
Malcolm
Butler.
Butler.
It did enroll at University of West Alabama in 2012.
And D Virgin. He'll pop up on Twitter here and there.
Any qualms with Tyreek Hill there? I think
No.
that's an insane steal.
I didn't pick him for moral reasons, but
It's fine.
Pete's
Yeah,
their
he's
own.
a gigantic douchebag, but
I
he's
guess
really
I operate
fucking
like the
good at
Giants a
football.
little bit.
Yeah.
He was off my board.
Yeah, I was between him and another guy, so I'm happy with it. Ev, you're up.
All right, so my last one is a trade. I won't do the Eli one like I talked about before, just because it kind of got taken already. This was one I kind of did research on. It's a really under the radar one, but it's fucking unbelievable. In 1995, in the first round, the Bucks had the 7th overall pick. They traded it back to get 12 and 28. 12 they took Warren Sapp. 28 they took Derek Brooks. The rest is history.
Yeah.
Took 2 Hall of Famers, traded that 1 pick for 2 Hall of Famers, went on to win, obviously won the Super Bowl with Gruden, our coworker. 2 of the best defensive players in their position of all time. Not like, doesn't ever get talked about. It kind of almost surprised me as I was doing the research on it, but unbelievable trade. I mean, the Bucks take 2 Hall of Famers in 1 round. Unbelievable.
Yeah, just a cool trade. Like, built the backs off the whole defense of these two guys, so.
Just 2 nasty motherfuckers, too.
Oh, and do you know this is like a famous bust guy too? Do you know who the Eagles took Mike Mamula. So Mike Mamula was a defensive end. He's just one of those names. Maybe you guys are a little bit young. Clem, acknowledge it, makes me feel better. But he was like, he went to Boston College, defensive end, but he was a guy who absolutely destroyed the combine. And everyone's like, oh, well, who the fuck is this guy? And then it's like, oh, wait, he wasn't that good in college. And then he was a nothing NFL player. So good trade.
Fuck those guys.
Good pick.
Real good
Big
trade.
Av just got Steve Che's vote. I'll tell you that right now.
Honestly, it was when I found out Che wasn't in this, I was like, I can definitely get this in the 5th round.
Che would have taken it first overall.
But Che would have 100% taken it.
For sure. Chief, you're up.
All right. I'm taking the COVID draft for a moment. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but if you remember, they had you had Belichick's dog made an appearance. That was when they had Kingsbury in his serial killer house in Arizona.
Yeah. So the virtual COVID draft.
The virtual COVID draft. The whole thing was just so bizarre. And then you had Goodell was in he looked like Mr. Rogers with a wool sweater over his instead of the suit. It was just a very weird.
Was he wearing a mask in it?
I don't.
Even though he was alone in his own room.
Yeah, I think he was alone. I don't recall the mask. I do remember Belichick's dog. I definitely remember Kingsbury's house, and it all being virtual was a surreal kind of draft moment.
Clemmer would love this pick.
Why?
The Dave Gettleman war room, just
oh yeah,
bad memories.
Oh my god,
horrible memories of the Dave Gettleman war room.
This was Ryan
Guy didn't believe in technology.
He had a book this fucking big that he was going through. Oh my god,
horrible. Maybe the worst GM ever. Shane might beat him out. Crazy enough.
Goodell was a big deal. He had his recline or his big chair that he was gonna have. I remember. I think I blogged it. That was a wild, weird draft. Belichick's dog was the first thing I thought of, Chief. That was all time. We were all in kind of weird, bad places back then, and seeing some of that shit definitely brightened it up a little bit.
Yeah, it was definitely memorable. This is kind of like taking the whole state of Arizona because you took the whole draft instead of one moment from the draft.
I understand,
but
the whole thing was
class.
Surreal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna yuck your yum.
Okay.
Clemmer loves this pick, though.
Why? I don't get it. Why does Clemmer love the pick?
He just loves it. He took the baseball COVID season, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mr. Irrelevant, White Sox Dave.
I need a bust, and the best one I got that hasn't been picking, is that a word? Taken?
Selected.
I'm going to go with Tim Couch. First overall, completely fucking sucked. Obviously, it's kind of if you get picked by the Browns, you're probably bound to stink. But he was first overall and just completely fucking sucked.
Yeah, that was another. That was 99, I think.
Yeah, 99.
That was another class that was billed as being
all-time,
holy shit class, and it was Tim Couch, Achilles Smith,
also a huge bust.
Cade McNown.
We all know that story.
The only guy who was good was Dante Culpepper.
No, McNabb went too.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Donovan McNabb.
And the Eagles fans booed the pick because they wanted Ricky Williams.
They wanted Ricky Williams. That's right. That was that draft. Yes.
I was looking at Couch myself, but it's I feel like it's kind of we're learning this slowly as a fucking civilization. When guys like Sam Darnold suck and then they go to a good place and they're good. It's I think Tim Couch might have suffered from that. If Tim Couch goes to the Eagles with Andy Reid, he's probably good, right? And that's what you say with Mahomes. How great would he be without Reid? But I think the landing spots do play a big part in it, unless they're like Jamarcus Russells and they don't look at DVDs and shit like that. But I feel like Tim Couch was all right. I almost took Achilles Smith and went 3 and was an absolute disaster for the Bengals.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. If any of those guys go to the Eagles, were they just fine because they're with a guy who knows how to?
Yeah, probably. And it was because McNabb was in a triple option quarterback, right?
No,
at Syracuse.
I mean, he had Marvin Harrison.
No, at Syracuse.
No, I know.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
They weren't the option. No, they were pro stylish offense.
Why did I think
he scrambled a lot, but he was not not triple option. No.
There's a lot of good guys in that class, though.
In the 99.
I still think McNabb's one of the more underrated players of the last
what was
20,
it 4 straight NFC championships?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just because he was beating up on the Giants my whole childhood. But I think in my head, I think of McNabb as a much better player than I feel like society thinks about him now.
How did he wind up at Syracuse out of here?
They were good. They had Marvin Harrison and Dwight Freeney on that team. They had 3 like stud NFL players.
feel like
Donovan Darius too.
Yeah.
That was I loved Syracuse. That's back when I followed college football, and then they were supposed to get Vic too, and I don't think Vic wanted to be in McNabb's shadow, and then it started to go downhill from there.
I think part of the appeal, if I could be making this up in my head, but he wanted to play basketball too. And I think they're going to let him play basketball and football.
McNabb.
He was on that Final Four team that played Kentucky in '96. He was like off the bench. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like he and Antoine Walker were both on the basketball team here at Carmel.
At Mount Carmel, yeah.
I think you're right though, Ev. Like I think McNabb probably lost out the most on the Eagles winning 2 Super Bowls in recent memory.
Yeah, maybe.
If they win one of those Super Bowls, he's to me a no-brainer, like waltzes into the Hall of Fame. And because they didn't win, he's just not even like really considered for it. I feel like.
Did he make it to 2? I only remember the Patriots one.
Not only once, but
okay.
they won to the NFC title game 4 years in a row.
Yeah. It was always the Bucks, right? Who else?
It's because he threw up. He threw up in the Super Bowl, and that ruined his legacy.
Yeah.
And T.O. just shit on him.
T.O. shit all over him. Yeah, because
And T.O., for his credit, had like a
broken
leg
leg.
in his leg.
And he had like 3 tutties that game. He had an awesome
T.O.
game.
would have been the MVP.
Yeah.
I think he scored at the end. He played his ass off on a broken ankle.
Yeah.
And now he'll never get the love in Philly ever because no, it's just Foles and Jalen who are gonna be the which as
Hey, that's
should.
when you win a Super Bowl, that's how it goes.
Sure, as they should.
Yeah.
But if they were just a miserable franchise, like
Yeah.
90% of us, like they're sitting here in 2025 being like,
He was
Man, you know
a
what?
great quarterback.
We would have
He
loved
was
McNabb
great
back.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Second in MVP one year in 2000. He never got any other votes other than that year, which is weird, or at
That's
least not the
surprising.
top 20.
And I feel like his numbers, like if you look at his numbers, like obviously the pass numbers have inflated so much. If you look at his pass numbers for all those years compared to like the league, he was tearing it up.
How about that? Tim Couch just leads us into a nice Donovan McNabb love fest.
I like Donovan McNabb.
Let's do honorable mentions. Clem. Start with
Steele,
the
Brock
bust.
Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going bust first?
Wait, let's do bus first.
Okay. Achilles Smith, Tony Mandarich, I already mentioned. Trey Lance, I feel gets kind of lost in that. Was that the Zach Wilson year?
He's
Yes.
never had a chance to be a bust though, but he's a bust because of where he's taken. But yeah, he is. He hasn't done
He's a
anything.
butt.
They
He's so
traded
bad they
up
won't
to
even
get
play
him.
him.
They gave him 3 first-round picks to draft Trey Lance.
Did they?
And he didn't even make it through his
Yes.
rookie deal.
It was
Right?
bizarre because they traded up and everyone thought they were trading up for Mac Jones. That was like the word. And then they pivoted. But I mean, I guess they were fucked either way.
And he didn't play his senior year because of the pandemic, right? Is that what it was?
I think they played one game.
because
Like an
they
exhibition or
played one-
something? Yeah.
They played one game they scheduled basically as a Trey Lance showcase.
Yeah.
They played Central Arkansas, and he wasn't even that good in the game.
Yeah. He went 15 for 30 with 149 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick.
Against Central Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, he had 143 on the ground, 2 TDs on the ground. Any other busts, Clem?
That was the only one I had left.
Ev, busts?
A sneaky one, I think, is Justin Blackman.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be unbelievable. I still believe he would have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
He had a decent rookie year. He played 4 games in his second year, never suited up again for an NFL team.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to put up 1,000 yards for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
If he had his head on straight, I think he could have. I think he was that good, just that good of a player.
At OK State he was.
He was with Brandon Whedon.
Yep.
He got Brandon Whedon picked in the first round, even though he was like
30
26.
years old, yeah.
Anyone else ever?
Charles Rogers.
That's what I had,
So
Charles Rogers.
He was so fucking good at Michigan State, and that was that run. I think Matt Millen was running the Lions, where they went Roy Williams, Charles Rogers,
All their
and then
Calvin.
back to back to back.
I had that as a moment. Lions taking
All that-
3
that would've been
wide
good.
receivers. Yeah.
There was a play, or not a play, a game. I was watching Michigan State versus Iowa, and Iowa was doubling him the entire game for obvious reason. And there was a play, they had the camera looking at him, so the defensive backs were to the camera, and he literally picked up the guy's shoulder pad, shoved him off the line, and then he ran straight forward, shoved the guy off of him like 3 yards down, gone for like 80 yards. I'm like, this guy's going to be the best football player of all time.
He stole a win from Notre Dame. He had a touchdown in like the back of the end zone as like time was expiring, I think, and then he had like 100 something yards. But he was a dominant college wide receiver who I don't know, just couldn't play.
Yep.
And then Vernon Golston.
Always passed away.
Charles Rogers dead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
2019.
Damn.
Cancer, I believe. Was it? Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Charles Rogers against Notre Dame had
Liver failure, cancer, yeah,
Fuck.
liver transplant, yeah.
7 catches for 175 and 2 touchdowns against Notre Dame in that game.
Let's
He's so big.
do Steele now, Clem.
Brock Purdy. So they get out of the Trey Lance hell by drafting a the fact he was Mr. Irrelevant obviously plays, and then Shanahan's system can just make everyone awesome. And then I didn't know what this was going to be like, but like this is one of those black and white things. I saw Bart Starr round 17 is just hilarious. We see the rounds how long they used to be. So
Roger Staubach was the 10th round, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But I think it's because he was going into the Navy for 4 years.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah.
Have any steals?
Yeah, I had 2 more that I wrote down. Actually, 3. The one that another character guy, Antonio Brown. I mean, I think it was like a 6th rounder.
Yeah.
I mean, was the best receiver in the league for like 5 years straight. Shannon Sharp too was a late rounder.
Yeah,
was
that's
like
the other
was
one
one
I
of the best
had.
tight ends ever.
Yeah.
And Kelsey too, Jason Kelsey. I think was a definitely. I mean, 6th rounder, future Hall of Famer.
Chief.
The only other 2, I had Shannon Sharp written down, and then I had Lamar. Because Lamar, there were questions about him. He was the last pick of the first round. I think they traded back in to get him.
They did.
Yeah, and I think if you are picked at the very end of the round, especially as a quarterback, and then you win an MVP, that to me is your steal. But if the Browns drafted him, he'd be out of the league.
Do you think there is still one person saying Lamar Jackson is a running back playing quarterback? Do you think there's still one person who still has their flag on that hill?
I think he has.
I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think he has to win one.
I don't think.
Just kidding.
Okay.
You got any steals?
Ray Lewis was he was at the end of my list because he was the first rounder, but he was like 28th overall or something. Favre, Breeze, and then Staubach.
I have one left, and it's Russell Wilson.
Yeah, third rounder.
Yes.
Yeah, third rounder.
To get a franchise quarterback, win a Super Bowl, and he played a long time there.
I think a lot of people like owe their draft stock and their money that goes with it to Russell Wilson. Like because he was short. That was the only knock on him is that he was short. So then you have guys like Kyler Murray probably goes later too, but they saw that Russ could do it, so they have other short guys doing it.
Yeah, Russ was. And it sucks he's become kind of a punchline now, but he was awesome. He was awesome.
I remember when it was coming out that they were starting a rookie from the 3rd round. I'm like, what the fuck?
And they just
they were
signed
like, no,
Flynn.
he must be legit. And to his credit, man, he was fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was a legit top 5 quarterback in the league when there were a lot of good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
When did you guys start to suspect he was crazy? I think the concussion water was the first moment where I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, Russell might be crazy. And their defense did help a lot, but it seemed like he was one of those guys, maybe not the beloved quarterback guy,
Yeah. Draft class, Clem.
I got 3 here. 2011, Cam Newton, Von Miller, AJ Green, Julio Jones, Patrick Peterson, JJ Watt, Mike Pouncey, Kerrigan, Robert Quinn, Kelsey, Alden Smith, Richard Sherman. That's a sick class. 2018, it's kind of weird. It's like it's 2017. Josh Allen, Lamar, Baker has now had this renaissance. Saquon is no longer getting fucked by the Giants. Quentin Nelson, Minka Fitzpatrick, Nick Chubb, Fred Warner. And then 1981, I read about Singletary, LT, Ronnie Lott, Howie Long, Ricky Jackson. Yeah. So another like older team.
It had 7 Hall of Famers.
Monster one. You got any of?
No, I pretty much said him. 81 was going to be down just because I was a Giants LT guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I know I've looked a few. There's like the 85 had like Bruce Smith and Jerry Rice and Andre Reed. Was they Doug Flutie, Herschel? That was a Herschel Walker draft. I sneaky think it's so early that 2021 might end up being pretty fucking good. That's like Joe Burrow and like Jefferson. Yeah. There's some legit guys up there.
Yeah, there are.
Sewell, I think, was in that one.
That draft is fucked up too because like no one could like bring the guys in as much. So like fuck, I'm with the Giants, right? That was what was the year of Micah Parsons? Was that year or was that a different year?
No, I think that was maybe the year after.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of then.
Because that was Devontae Smith year, which was like we took Tony. No, the one I'm talking about, that was when we took Neal and Thibodeau, which was obviously he's been
In
pretty
2020,
bad.
we took Andrew Thomas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. So good. Actually, the one good pick they made, but
Tua was 5, Herbert was 6. Yeah, that's
That's a good one.
interesting.
You have any left, Dave?
No.
Me neither. What?
I have a trade.
Yeah, we'll do.
All
Yeah,
right,
we'll do.
all right.
Let's do trades then, Clem.
Randy Moss got traded on draft day, if I remember correctly, and that was fucking. And I was like, "Holy shit!" Like that could be something. I never in a million years thought what was coming came.
Yeah, that he got traded for a 4th round pick. So that was the only other one that I had written down, and that was draft day. And I want to say there was like rumors that he like ran a 40 and flip flops on the tarmac for Belichick, like, and Belichick clocked him at like a 4.31 or something like. There's all sorts of like crazy myths that are around that trade.
Any other ones, Clem?
Nope, that was all I got.
Ev?
the only one I had written down was Lamar.
Yeah.
Like just trading back in the first round and getting a 2-time MVP by the time he's 25, 26. Pretty good.
Nice. Chief?
That's it.
Dave? I have the RG3 trade.
Yeah, that one, I had that one as well.
3 first rounders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have the Trent Richardson train is
Oh yeah.
really funny too.
We'll see about the Caleb Williams trade in a couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
Yeah.
True.
It's
You hope.
already been a success, I
hope.
think.
Well,
Lot to be determined, Dave.
yeah.
Sure. But I mean, they didn't get what's his face, which is a win in and of itself. He stinks.
Who?
Carolina's quarterback.
Bryce Young?
Yeah,
Oh,
Bryce
yeah.
Young.
He started turning
Where-
around
where-
last
Yeah,
year.
he stinks.
I
He
don't know about that.
When Dave is his mind up,
honestly watched-
Stinks.
and Dave is his mind made up on a guy, he's
That's
very
not true.
He's very hard to change.
I argued
very hard
against
to change.
Brady being the GOAT for a long time, and then he won the Super Bowl with
He's very hard to
Tampa,
change.
and I'm like, I can't argue against this anymore.
He was good enough to give him another year for sure.
Clem, moment.
He stinks.
I got 3 here. It sucks that this doesn't hit the same because the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. But when the Vikings were fucking celebrating when the Eagles passed on Justin Jefferson,
Yeah.
I think they took, was it Rager they took with that pick?
Jalen Rager.
Jalen Rager.
And they're just fucking like laughing, celebrating, and then they get Justin Jefferson, which was, I believe, the pandemic draft, right? So that was during
yeah.
all that. Brady Quinn was like the other faller in the draft, so that was kind of
Yeah.
Rodgers without the happy ending for the player.
Well, he ended up in Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then one person that I thought would get a lot of like talk on this because he was the face of the draft for so long was Mel Kiper Jr., where him and the Colts GM Bill Tobin get into an argument. He says, "Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway?" When he says like this is the reason the Colts are always picking the second pick of the draft every year. And then he says the exact quote, "I'm secure in my position." This is Kiper saying this. Obviously, Bill Tobin isn't very secure in his position to have a response like that. So like a little bit of like feistiness out of like media members way back then was like a huge deal. So it was kind of fun seeing these guys like mix it up.
I had that too.
And then another, I don't know if it's a moment per se, but the switch that when they made it all about TV, because it used to be your weekend long experience. It was 15 minutes between every pick.
I couldn't stand the draft back then.
Draft took fucking forever. So when they, I don't know what is the clock now for a pick?
5 minutes, maybe?
The
I think it's 10.
Yeah.
first
10?
round. So, but it's prime time.
Yeah.
It's at a location. It's not Radio City Music Hall. They always move it around. This year's in Green Bay. So like that was kind of like a big, smart move.
Yeah, for sure. Any moments for you, Ev?
The one that stuck out to me the most that I almost took, if I didn't get the gas mask, was the Manziel draft was a moment. Like I remember everyone was kind of on the edge of the seat because it's obviously now we know where he went, but there was talk he could go 1. There was talk he might go like 3. Like no one really, he could have went anywhere. No one knew where he was going to go. And then they keep showing him in the green room, the story of him like texting the Browns and being like, take me.
Yeah.
Like I want to come to Cleveland. Like, because Cleveland had multiple picks in that first round. They took another corner. I think it was Justin Gilbert who also stunk.
Yep.
So they swung and missed big time on both of them. But I remember that being such a moment. Like they took the Jacks took Bortles. He looked so pissed. I think maybe another quarterback went 2 a little bit after that before him.
This draft is sneaky fucking awesome. So it's Clowney went first overall, who is whatever. Khalil Mack went 5th. Jake Matthews was a Pro Bowler for Falcons, whatever. Mike Evans, Bucks, went 7. Anthony Barr, very good player. Eric Ebron was a really good tight end for a long time. Our guy Taylor Lewan, Odell Beckham, Aaron Donald, Kyle Fuller, Zach Martin, like a ton of good guys.
Well, I remember the big story too was that apparently Jerry Jones like wanted to just take him so bad, and they had to be like, what are you like?
Yeah,
don't do
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like his
Zach
son had
Martin,
to
you
tackle him. Yeah.
It was where that his son had to basically like grab him by the shirt and be like, don't do this. Like, you're gonna tank everything.
That's like, man, there's so many things. Mark me up for a little documentary on that. Like, give me 30 minutes on like Jerry Jones watching an A&M game with his buddies on a Saturday, and he's like, oh, we need
Smoking a cigar with a glass of brown liquor next to him.
Yeah, we need this guy.
This is gonna be.
We need this guy.
Yeah.
I should have said it too, but like, I need a 30 for 30, or just give me an hour, untold, whatever, on the Laramie Tunsil gas mask. But that needs to be.
What if that happened in this draft year? Laramie Tunsil's eligible for the draft, and that comes out 2 hours before the draft starts.
Definitely still hurts him.
It hurts him, but like, how much?
I think it still does the same.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. These guys, like, part of their job is just not being stupid.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
Like, so if they do this and he's bad, like, it's just the risk reward is just not there.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, you just don't want to look dumb, because you look dumb, then you lose your job. And it's all about keeping your fucking job, because there's only 32 of them.
Yep, you're right.
You got any?
Michael Sam, obviously. That was
that draft night?
That was a moment.
Yeah,
That was a big story.
That was
huge.
I mean, he was the first openly gay player to play. Did he ever actually play a snap in the NFL?
No, not preseason. He did. Not regular.
Preseason. Obviously made out with his boyfriend on camera. That was a little different for the time. But that was a huge draft story. I think that could have
say something else.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know, but I never know with you, so I didn't know. I never know.
Why didn't you say what you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say that was a little much. I was going to be like,
I mean, it was disgusting. Drafting a guy with 2 first names, that's fucking sickening.
this guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
You know, also it was a huge story because I think Fisher's even like kind of has talked to, I think, about that Goodell and high up guys are basically being like, someone's got to fucking take him.
Otherwise, we'll get canceled as a league.
He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year and was going to
like
go
14 sacks or something. Yeah,
but it's like,
but they talked about he had bad hips, like he was kind of slow.
He wasn't
like-
very big.
like-
yeah.
there's
He was a college player.
awesome college players all the time.
Yeah.
That don't translate, and it's
Right.
like,
He was one of them.
and we sit here like morons, like, how is this guy not going to be a pro? And
You
it's
know
like,
what he really missed out on? He should have been born like 5 or 7 years later, and he would have fucking cleaned up NIL as an openly gay college football player in the SEC. I mean, because he was never going to be an NFL guy because he was just not that good. But he was awesome in college. He could have made millions.
I do I do remember being a little, to Ed's point, being like, how's this guy not translate? I remember thinking Derek Mays, who was a wide receiver for Notre Dame, like, he's got to go first overall. And I think he went in the 4th round, like, never did shit. But it was like,
I remember
just never
watching
know.
Brad Banks at Iowa, and I was like, I want the Bears to draft him with their first pick. And I don't even think he got drafted that year.
all right,
Brad
let's
Banks was awesome.
let me
He was
read them
awesome.
off.
I forgot. There's a couple moments, and I'm thinking we might have lost a lot of moments. Like, there's littler moments, like the CeeDee Lamb when she tried to take his phone.
Yes,
and takes
that
it
was
back.
a
No, there was a lot of the girlfriend moments that
The mom stiff arming the girl as she's going in for the hug with the family.
Russell Wilson's now ex-wife going nuts on camera.
Yeah.
What if like a fucking goon?
What if I told you that I wanted to make this draft just moments, and White Sox Dave was like, I can't even name 5.
Because were we going to draft all wives and girlfriend moments?
Sure,
There was a million
there
of them.
might be
but
fucking 25 from the COVID draft.
Yeah,
not that early.
I think 25 would have been.
It would have been.
I mean,
You said in the text,
I know I saw we're scraping, but we could have made it work. I think the last round would have been a little tough.
this was a better format for sure.
And this is one that I think it's forgotten about because he ended up not being bad. But I remember at the time being like, what the fuck are the Texans doing taking Mario Williams? You have either Reggie Bush, the greatest college football player I've ever seen, or Vince Young, who's in Texas and an absolute legend. And I mean, like, Reggie had his struggles in the NFL. He still had some awesome years. And then Vince Young, I don't know if you could say bust because he did have that one awesome year with the Titans.
He's
where
rookie of the
came
year.
Back.
Yeah.
Did he win rookie of the year?
I'm pretty sure he did, right?
did.
Oh shit.
Well, it was fucked from the beginning because Jeff Fisher clearly did not want him, made it very clear, and ownership said, "I don't give a fuck, you're taking him." And so I think it was just fucked from the beginning.
That was fucking college football at its best.
Yeah.
Man. USC Texas game was, I think, the zenith of fucking college football for our age.
Jeff Fisher.
For
Well,
ours,
do you remember
for
kind of
sure.
his NFL coming out party was against the Giants a little bit? He had a huge Giants.
Matthias Kiwanuka didn't fucking tackle him. That was the whole
He
thing.
broke that crazy tackle, and that was his big moment.
I do love the Vince Young story where he would buy out an entire Southwest flight. Do you know that story? Like he'd buy all the tickets, so he was effectively flying private on Southwest Airlines.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That is actually a baller move.
Just to fly private.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lance, you can
Also,
cut across the
Vince
flight.
Young, another guy who played in Troy Smith's golf outing this summer, and let me tell you, a tank of a human.
He's
being.
like 400 pounds now too, right?
He's not that. No,
Well,
he's not
I
that.
mean, I'm embellishing, but
he's obviously thicker than his playing days, but he looked fine. Just big, huge hands, like just a massive guy. Massive.
boy.
Couldn't fathom tackling that guy in his prime.
I'm guessing Vince Young didn't turn down the joint when it was offered to him.
I wish we offered. He wasn't there when the smoking was commencing. Unfortunately, would have loved to smoke one down with Vince.
All right, I'm going to read these off. We'll vote someone off. We'll get out of here. Clem, Tom Brady steal. Vikings missing the pick. Ricky Williams trade, 2017 draft, Johnny Manziel bust. Eddie Herschel Walker trade, Eli picture with the Chargers jersey, Ryan Leaf 2004 class, Tyreek Hill steal. Jamarcus Russell bust, Laramie Tunsil gas mask, Terrell Davis steal, 1996 class, Saps and Brooks trade. Chief Aaron Rodgers steal, 89 class, Patrick Mahomes trade, Zach Wilson virtual COVID draft. White Sox Dave, 83 class, Montana steal, Aaron Rodgers in the green room, Vic for LT, Tim Couch.
this is a tough one.
This is a tough one.
I don't think anyone was particularly bad.
None's particularly good or bad, I think.
Yeah. Damn, this is hard.
I'm forgetting who's all in these draft classes.
All right, you're up, Clem.
I don't know. I just because it was the last one read, I chose White Sox Dave. I don't know. It was
Ev?
all equal.
Yeah, it was close. I think I ended up going Chief, but I didn't think any were like particularly bad.
All right, one Dave, one Chief. Chief, who you got?
I had you.
Dave, who you got? He doesn't have it.
It's not Clem. I know that because he's got the best pick in the draft, the only one Brady. I'm gonna go with Ed because I don't like the last two picks particularly well.
I went with Chief. So Lance, you got to break the tie.
All right, can you read them for me one more time?
Yeah. Herschel Walker trade, Eli Manning picture with the Chargers jersey, Ryan Leaf bust, 2004 class, Tyreek Hill steal of the draft, Chief Aaron Rodgers steal, 1989 class, Patrick Mahomes trade, Zach Wilson virtual COVID draft.
I think Eddie had a better draft.
Okay.
First one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Chief, unfortunately, I'm voting for you.
I think you're too young to comment on this, to be honest, but okay.
I honestly, Chief having that whole COVID draft stopped me from voting for him. I'm like, man, there's so many good moments. He had 1,000 moments as his moment. It was
That's honestly like, well, I don't think you did bad. It's just that's what it boils.
Yeah, I don't really care that I got voted off this. I do think, yeah, whatever.
I don't know how you don't like the 04 class though.
Honestly, I completely forgot who was in it.
It was like Roethlisberger,
I mean,
Manning, Rivers.
I don't know. I don't
Larry
know.
Fitz-
Gerald's the best player.
I know. It's like I didn't like the 2004 draft classes.
I don't know.
That's that's America lets this guy vote, and we let him vote in the snake draft. That's what we got. So, thanks everyone. Hope you have a great draft day on Thursday, and yeah, go Bears.
Thanks, fellas.
boys, let's just like not have a disaster. That's basically what we hope for as Bears and Giants fans, right?
exactly.
No disaster this year.
Let's hit one. One time.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bears haven't had a bust aside from Mitch and
Kevin White.
Kevin White before that.
All right, everyone. We'll see you guys next time.